imposing religious interference with a chapel, and I'm not asking you to change those, even though that's probably a constitutional law issue and probably should be reviewed. A number of incidentally those provisions, like the number of services and attendance at services, were changed wisely by the city in order to prevent some kind of serious civil rights case under the Constitution. So that's number one. Number two, we would like to install the chapel, the dome, and we offered in the last hearing, which I think the magistrate ruled improperly, to install it toward the back instead of the front, and we offered to do it without the cross. I am told by several legal experts that I can go in tomorrow and actually get a permit from the building department to install that same dome on my house or on the duplex that is part of the retreat center property but not part of the retreat center proper, without any having to go through any hearings. There are other domes in the community. There's a huge tower on Church by the Sea. There is a relatively large tower on a bed and breakfast. It's in the form of a lighthouse. And there's some small domes on residences in the immediate neighborhood. And so depriving us of the ability to have that violates the equity principle. In other words, we don't have equal privilege and rights of other properties or other churches in the community. And so we would like to have that rectified. And I am willing, for the sake of peace of the community, to leave the cross off the top of it and strictly have the dome. So that's essentially our situation.
Okay.
I do have pictures of the dome when it was up originally before we agreed to take it down.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Instead of the.
Is it this?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's relatively small.
Exhibit.
All right, Father Cassius, I'm going to see what questions we have up here. Mike, do you have any questions? Paul?
You mentioned about Catholic churches and Catholic convents. Are there any of those in the city of Madeira Beach city limits?
There are not. But
I don't think so.
The reason I mention those is that our building code is not unique to Madeira Beach. It's a standard form of building and zoning code that's adopted by the state of Florida and that is prevalent in all of the communities with minor modifications in Pinellas County and in the county itself and the unincorporated areas of the county. So that's why I mentioned that.
I'm an engineer, and my first take on the wish of, I don't know what the magistrate really meant when he wanted to regulate the number of services, but my first thought as a civil engineer would be traffic and parking, and that it's a residential neighborhood and you turn it into a commercial use if you have numerous services with numerous cars coming in and out, and that might have been his idea. Just maybe that would help you.
He would have to regulate it, I think, a different way, because I think when you regulate services, you're really trampling on the First Amendment.
I'm not an attorney. I just thought that might help you understand a little bit from an engineering
standpoint.
standpoint.
The special exception is not put in place to deny churches any place, because there is nothing in our zoning that designates a classification for churches. And because churches can go any place, residential neighborhoods, and they're technically not commercial for that purpose, or in commercial areas, the special exception ordinance for churches is to make sure that the limited area in which government can regulate religious facilities like traffic and like fire safety and like numbers of people in the building can be exercised by the government, but it stops short of regulating religious activities. And incidentally, most of our weekday services, we have 5 to 7 people. And most of those people actually live in the facility. And so we don't have any.
So you rent apartments, or you?
No, we don't. People who would like to work on their religious life stay with us, and it's up to them whether or not they want to make a donation while they're in the facility. But they stay with us for a year or two, and we do have guests that stay more limited time on like weekend retreats. But it's very small traffic.
So it's more of a school than a.
No, it's a retreat. It's a religious residence and retreat center.
Residence. Okay.